Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. If we are new to each other, my name is Jamie and today we're going to tap into the lifestyle portion of the channel and we're going to make a vegan, vegetarian, and gluten-free style chili. So if you're ready, let's get started. Alright, so right off the bat I'm going to say that I am not a cook, I am not a chef, but I do like to eat. So I've learned right away that if I want to eat the way that I do eat, that I have to make it myself. And I don't like to make single portion meals because I'm very busy. So I like to cook larger portions and just make it throughout my week. So that's why this chili is just perfect for the fall, late spring, early spring, and it is good to go for your entire week. So going right back to the philosophy of not being a chef, all of these ingredients are going to be listed down below, but they're essentially just rough estimates. I don't do measurements, I don't do cups, teaspoons really. I just kind of know what tastes good and just kind of put them all in there. Chili is just one of those meals that does not need to be rushed. I, however, still enjoy getting a lot of the prep work out of the way since this meal does require a longer cook time. Once you have your veggies prepped, you can just store them in the fridge until it's time to add the necessary ingredients. Any of these can be omitted based on preference or availability in your pantry. Use whatever you have available, but I'll have a full listing of the ingredients I use down in the description box below. If I have learned one thing, it's to prep all your ingredients before you even start cooking, because it can quickly become overwhelming if you have a lot of ingredients and a lot of things going on. So it's a lot nicer to have all your chopping, your dicing, your opening all set and set to the side, so that way you start to add your ingredients, you kind of just go and just toss them in and it becomes more of an afterthought than, oh my god, what comes next? So we're gonna start with the hard vegetables. So we have our peppers, so it's about half a pepper, and I would say probably 2 whole carrots, or if you buy them whole, there's probably about a dozen, 12 carrots. And we're gonna wait to add our black beans and corn because they came from a can, but if you are using whole corn or whole beans that aren't fully cooked, I would probably add them in right now. We'll let them marinate for about 10 minutes and then we'll add our spices. Again, all the ingredients are going to be listed down below. So again, not too much measuring, we just kind of throw it in there. Once your solid vegetables have had ample time cooking on a higher heat, it is finally time to add your pre-portioned spices and optional jalapenos if you enjoy spicy foods like I do. You can reduce the heat down to a medium-high for an additional 30 minutes with a stir or two in between. Look at that caramelization of all these veggies and seasonings. Smells delicious. So once you've had your harder vegetables like your carrots, your peppers, and your onions cooking for, I would say, at least 20 minutes, then you can start adding your packaged vegetables. So this is about 1.5 cans of diced tomatoes, as well as half a can of chili peppers. And then you have your can of both black beans and corn, and then we'll just add them into your seasoning and your harder vegetables. And then I would probably lower the temperature down to about 6 hours and just let it cook for about 30 minutes, but just remembering to stir very often since the temperature has changed. So once you've let your harder vegetables and your softer vegetables as well as your spices cook for at least an hour, we'll say about 30 minutes or so on the high side, then it's time to add your proteins. So we have Impossible meat here, which is not actually meat, and it's also gluten-free. My other suggestion would be Beyond Meat, which is also gluten-free. But if you're not gluten sensitive, then there are other options like Gardein, which contain a little bit of gluten, and they'll probably cook faster than this Impossible meat would. So it just really depends on your preference. But if you're doing something like this that's a little more whole, you'd want to cut the package open, either cut it up or chop it up before adding it to your mix. So once you add your protein of choice into your chili, just get it all in there. And again, just continue to cook it on high for at least another 30 minutes and stirring quite often. So if you need to set timers for 10 minutes, 8 minutes, just making sure that the meat and your chili is just getting distributed evenly before we apply our final ingredient, which is pretty much just gonna be your pasta sauce, your tomato sauce. Again, just keeping it on high and just stirring it often for at least 30 minutes. So once you've had your meat substitute of choice cook for at least 30 minutes on that high setting, it's time to add that final ingredient, which is going to be your pasta sauce. So any pasta sauce that you enjoy, it could be generic, it doesn't really matter. It's just time to add that on in. And I would allow that to cook probably for another 30 minutes, medium to high. It depends on how hungry you are. Again, the real thing with chili is the longer it cooks, the better it tastes. So it's one of those things that you just kind of want going all day long on a nice fall or cold spring day. So we're just gonna set a timer for 45 minutes and set our timer to medium once we've fully stirred up all the ingredients all together. And just remembering to stir, stir, stir very often. And then after probably a half a dozen stirs or so, you should be good to go. Remember, the longer it cooks, the better it's gonna taste. And then if you'd like to top it off, I always recommend Daiya cheese. It is dairy-free, gluten-free, free of pretty much just about everything. So if you're really going for the vegan option, this is how you would go. Not any cheese is nice if you'd like it. And then you're good to serve. So just remember to hit that like and subscribe button down below because I like to post videos like this all the time. So until then, see ya.